Sometimes, the people we hire to pretend become the only ones who see us truly. The words trembled from Evelyn Harper's lips as she stood in the marble foyer of the Castellan estate, her worn nursing scrubs a stark contrast to the crystal chandeliers overhead. She clutched the contract with hands that had spent 12-hour shifts caring for strangers, never imagining those same hands would sign away 6 months to play girlfriend to a man she'd never met. Evelyn was 25, brilliant in her field, yet drowning in medical bills from her mother's ongoing treatments. Her father's death 3 years prior had left them with nothing but debt and determination. When the agency called about an unusual arrangement, $15,000 a month to attend social functions with Adrian Castellan, she'd laughed. Then she'd seen her mother's prescription costs and stopped laughing. Adrian Castellan, 33, was a fortress of a man who'd built a tech empire while building walls around his heart. His wife had left when their daughter Lily was barely 1, unable to handle his grief after his parents died in a plane crash over the Alps. Now he lived in a penthouse of silence, broken only by Lily's soft footsteps and the echo of his own regrets. Their first date was a charity gala. Adrian barely spoke, his jaw tight, eyes scanning exits. But Evelyn noticed how he flinched when anyone mentioned family, how his hand trembled slightly when reaching for water. "You don't have to pretend with me," she whispered during a waltz he clearly despised. "Not here, not when no one's watching your eyes." He looked at her then, really looked, and something cracked in that marble expression. Weeks passed. They played their parts beautifully, but Evelyn began noticing things. The untouched meals, the light in Lily's room that stayed on until 3 a.m., the nanny who looked exhausted and defeated. Then came the midnight that changed everything. Evelyn had left her medical bag at the estate after an event. Returning quietly, she heard crying, deep, gasping sobs from the nursery. She found 4-year-old Lily burning with fever, Adrian pacing helplessly, and the nanny gone. Quit that very evening. "I don't know what to do," Adrian's voice broke, this powerful CEO reduced to a terrified father. "I never know what to do with her." Evelyn's training kicked in instantly. Cool compress, temperature monitoring. But more than that, she sang. Soft, gentle lullabies her own father had sung to her. She held Lily's small hand and told her stories about brave little girls who were stronger than they knew. Adrian watched from the doorway as this woman he'd hired to be fake became startlingly real. By dawn, Lily's fever broke. She fell asleep clutching Evelyn's fingers, and Adrian made coffee with shaking hands. "Why did you come back?" he asked quietly. "Because I forgot my bag. Because, I don't know, maybe because some people are meant to show up exactly when they're needed." The truth emerged slowly over the following weeks. Lily had separation anxiety. Adrian worked 70-hour weeks not from ambition, but from fear. Fear of failing this child the way he felt he'd failed at marriage, at saving his parents. The nannies quit because Lily cried for a mother who'd never return. But Evelyn kept showing up, not just for events, but for Tuesday afternoon park visits, for bedtime stories, for the small, crucial moments that matter more than any contract. "You're the first person she's trusted," Adrian admitted one evening, watching Evelyn and Lily build towers from blocks. "The first person I've trusted." "Trust isn't something you buy, Adrian," she said softly. "It's something you build. One moment, one truth, one showing up when it's hard." The first twist came when Adrian discovered Evelyn's mother's medical file. She'd accidentally left it in his study. The crushing debt, the experimental treatments, the reason she'd taken this bizarre arrangement. He said nothing, but quietly made calls. The second twist arrived 2 months later. Evelyn's mother needed emergency surgery, $80,000 the insurance wouldn't cover. Evelyn prepared to break her contract, to walk away from the only stable income she'd had. Instead, she found a hospital bill marked "Paid in Full" and a note in Adrian's precise handwriting. "You showed up for my daughter when you didn't have to. Let me show up for yours." She found him in his office, tears streaming down her face. "Why? This wasn't part of our agreement." "No," he said quietly, standing, crossing to her. "But kindness never is. You taught me that. You taught Lily that. You showed us that love isn't a transaction. It's a choice we make every single day." "I still see you, you know," she whispered, echoing her words from that first gala. "Not the CEO, not the walls, just you. The man who reads the same bedtime story 5 times because his daughter asks. The man who's terrified of failing but shows up anyway." He reached for her hand, not as an employer, not as a contract, but as a human being, desperate for connection. "I'm not asking you to stay because I'm paying you. I'm asking because we need you, because Lily needs you, because
Because sometimes the people we hire to pretend become the family we needed all along," Evelyn finished. 6 months became a year. The contract was torn up and replaced with something no paper could hold. Genuine love built on authenticity, sacrifice. Evelyn's mother recovered, stronger, always asking about that wonderful man and his daughter. Adrian learned to leave work at 6, to be present, to trust that showing up was enough. And on a quiet evening 1 year later, as Lily fell asleep between them during a movie, Adrian whispered, "Thank you for seeing me, for seeing us." Evelyn smiled, her hand finding his. "Thank you for letting me." The greatest kindness we can offer isn't perfection, it's presence. It's showing up in midnight crises and mundane Tuesdays. It's seeing past the armor people wear and choosing to love the wounded heart beneath. Sometimes strangers become family not through blood, but through the simple, sacred act of choosing to care. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.